Hey everybody, Jason here. I'm going to do a little quick, hopefully quick, unboxing for you guys today. I've got my camera set up at a different angle than I normally use, so hopefully this is not too terrible. If it is, hopefully I can edit it properly. But like I said, I'll try to keep this brief and open this up. I got this box partially opened already. Here we go. Helheim Unbound. I believe this is by Skylark Studios. Do a quick little flip through here. This is a nice hardcover book. Here's the front art. The front hardcover is like a wood grain. How well you can see that, but it's like a fake wood grain. There's no text on the spine, so I guess just identifying this book on your shelf as wood grain makes it to where it's the Helheim Unbound game. But so the game has a lot of art and feel of being like a Norse, like a Viking style role-playing game, but it's really a system neutral book. It's not, there's not really a setting per se. Hopefully this light is good for you guys. But this is by Skylark Studios. It's written by Nathaniel Skinner. He's a lead designer, and Cameron Reed was the other designer. And there's a lot of really cool full color artwork. And I'm not going to go through the entire system and do a full review. This is just going to be kind of a review of the book itself, not the system. And there's 5 chapters. The core rules is chapter 1. Chapter 2 is champion creation. Chapter 3 is for the game master. Chapter 4 is all examples of things, which is helpful because as much as I like this book and I like this system from what I can tell, some of the wording and terms and phrases they use can be a little weird, I guess, sort of weird, because they're not very common. They're uncommon terms for things. And chapter 5 is magic. So the first chapter here, or the introduction I should say, is about the game. There's information about the layout, what you need to play. Obviously you need the core book and character sheets. And it says here 20 even numbered dice of the same set or type. D6s or D10s is recommended. There's some more cool art. Okay, so the basic system that this runs on is the hit system, where you roll a dice pool built with like stats and traits and stuff like you typically would with an RPG. And the reason it recommends 6-sided or 10-sided dice is because with an 8, 9, or 10, that's considered a hit if you're using D10s, and a 5 or a 6 on a D6 is considered a hit when you're using D6s. So 8, 9s, or 10s, or 5s and 6s, anything that's a hit, you count. Misses are set aside and have no impact aside from the fact that they're not hits. So you don't have your typical, if you roll more failures than successes, something bad happens, or if you roll, a bunch of 1s or something like that, there's no like botches or anything like that. So that's the basics of the system. Here's a little chapter on movement, and they actually give movement, by humans walking, horses, ships, things like that. So I guess in certain regards, this type of movement is sort of an example of Norse or medieval type movement. But again, for the most part, you can reskin that to be any sort of genre that you really want. Some special rules, some rules on health, wounds, healing, injury hindrances, things like that. Champion advancement, wealth. Wealth is kind of weird in this game. I don't know that I fully understand it, and that's no fault of the games. It's just when you're so used to things being, very simple, like, a gold piece is like $1 or whatever, when you're using something that's a stat like wealth as a statistical value rather than an actual monetary value, like, 40 shillings is the equivalent of 200 wealth in this game. So again, it's a little odd and it might take a little getting used to, but once you start using it, I'm sure it'll make sense. Here's another really good picture. And the magic system is a little weird too. It's kind of more free form, and you can create spells and stuff, but the way it works is a little weird. Champion creation, some of the terms are a little odd. Like, when you create a character, you get, instead of getting character points to spend, you do get character points. They're just called time points. And I'm not sure why they use the word time points. It's kind of I guess a little bit of a weird word to use for that. It's just different. I mean, you know what it is. When you're reading the chapter, you know what they mean. So that's okay. There's nothing confusing about it. It's just kind of an odd, I guess, wording for it. But in a way, it's kind of nice. It makes it stand out. It's different, Benefits and hindrances, resources, retirement. This actually is very cool. This retirement thing here. I'm not going to get into all this, but they have really good rules on how to retire your character. Here's an example character sheet. Take a little look at that. A really nice piece of art. Chapter 3 is for the game master, and this just describes how to do difficulties and tests, how to create combat encounters and narrative encounters. A lot of typical stuff. There's rules on creating creatures, creature difficulties, things like that. And there's no bestiary in this, so you kind of have to create all your stuff as you go. Rules for mobs, gain fame, trials, wealth, a lot of stuff for the GM. Look at some more of that art there. I love the art style here. It's very simple, very clean, full color. Chapter 4 is all the examples they could give you about some different things, because it's very freeform. You kind of make up your own skills, you make up your own abilities, you make up your own spells, stuff like that, which can be a little daunting for a GM, especially if you don't have a whole lot of time to devote to do such a thing, like me. Some example creatures. Like I said, there's no bestiary, but there's some examples of a few creatures. Now this right here is another example character sheet. However, this is a sci-fi character, an exosuit pilot. Now, the player's guide for this book, or for this system, the player's guide, is free, and it actually has most of this book in it. There's only a couple things missing from this, and it's free. So I highly recommend everybody to check it out on drivethrurpg.com. Skills and encounters, more creatures. Chapter 5 is magic. Here's some example spells. So if you don't feel like making any, there's some example ones here. There's a section on runic magic if you want to use runic magic and runic spells. Here's a section on designing your own magic or high technology system. Magical system frameworks, things like that. So it's very cool in that way. You know, you can use blood to fuel your spells, or, you know, mana, other things. And that really is it. On the back here, even though there's no specific setting in the game, there is a map of Western Europe circa 770 AD. Should you want to run a Viking type European campaign. And that's it. So this clocks in at a whopping 64 pages. It's very thin. It's written very well. It's not pricey. It's very cheap. And also, the people that run the game and create the game are very active with the community. They were actually kind enough to respond to one of my messages and create a character based on an example that I gave them, or questioned them, I should say, hey, you know, how would you create a character based on such and such an idea? They created it and named it after me, and kind of put that in PDF form, which was kind of nice of them. That was not kind of nice. That was nice. That was awesome of them. And they're very active, and they are active in the community, and they're very willing to talk to you know, fans in the community and stay connected. So Helheim Unbound is really cool. I suggest everybody check it out. You know, like I said, the player's guide for it is completely 100% free, and it contains probably 75% or more of what's in that book. So it's really a steal. It really is. But you know, it's so awesome. I would suggest supporting these guys. It's a really cool book. So anyway, hope everybody enjoyed the quick little unboxing. Not so quick little unboxing. And we'll see you later.